Thank you, Ceann Corlin. Taoiseach, last Friday we read in the Irish Times about an extraordinary letter from one of your own ministers, Minister of State Alex White, in relation to a number of matters. But principally he wrote that he would not stand over a position where the Taoiseach looks to fire the Commissioner of the Gardaí without as much as a phone call to the leader of the Labour Party. That's a very serious assertion by one of your own government ministers, Taoiseach. And I would ask you, Taoiseach, have you spoken to Minister White about that assertion? And do you agree with what he has said in relation to the removal of the Garda Commissioner? I have been asking you this for 10 weeks, for a candid and a truthful account of why you sent the Secretary-General of the Department of Justice on that fateful Monday evening before the Cabinet out to his house, which was quite an unprecedented move in itself, and which sources close to the Garda Commissioner, the former Garda Commissioner, said left him with no option and left him in no doubt as to what was to be expected from you. Now, it's a very, very serious issue, Taoiseach, because the departure of a Garda Commissioner is laid down in law, the process that has to be followed. The Garda Commissioner can only be removed by the Cabinet. Essentially, you've set in train a series of events to remove the former Garda Commissioner without telling the Taoiseach, or indeed without telling your Cabinet colleagues. Now, Minister White has confirmed and has said what the public believe to be the truth. But for some reason, you will not come into this House and tell the truth and be candid with us as to the actions that you took. And it's a very serious issue that goes to the very core of faith in the public service. And I'm going to put it to you, Taoiseach.
Sorry,
I would ask you, Taoiseach, why did you not tell the Taoiseach, Taoiseach?
Sorry, would you put your question?
Yeah, I'm just putting it out. Why did you not tell the Taoiseach at the time that you were sending the Secretary-General out to the house of the Garda Commissioner following a meeting you had with officials and Minister Shaller? And have you spoken to Minister Alex White, who was a member of your government, who has made this assertion now publicly?
Thank you. Taoiseach.
No, I have not spoken to Minister White. No, I do not accept Minister White's assertion in his letter. I fully understand the Minister is involved in a leadership contest for his party. You made a charge in this House, Deputy Micheál Martin, that I fired the former Garda Commissioner. That's your charge. In time, Deputy Martin, you'll have to stand over that. I made it clear on the public record of Dáil Éireann, as is my responsibility. I said this quite openly, quite candidly, and the truth, Deputy Martin. You might not be familiar with the truth. The point was that I've said publicly on the record, the revelations made to me by the Attorney-General arising from the particular case in West Cork of an unsolved murder, with the implications for the taping of recordings to Garda stations for very many years, was one of grave concern to me. I put it on the record that it was my duty and my responsibility to have those concerns brought to the attention of the former Garda Commissioner, because I would have to inform the Cabinet in the morning of those concerns and anxieties. I'm well aware of the legislation regarding the removal of a person of the stature of the Garda Commissioner. You made a charge in this House, and you're going to have to stand over it, and you won't stand over it the way you're going about it.
With the greatest of respect, one of your own ministers has made the charge, and you've done nothing about that. You haven't even talked to him. You have some neck to come in here and lecture me about that, when one of your own government ministers has made the assertion.
Sorry.
But the point is this, Taoiseach, the former Garda Commissioner, whether people like or disagree with policies or whatever, was the first actually to bring the issue of phone recordings in Garda stations, and it wasn't about a specific phone recording either. Stop changing your story as it goes on. It was about the wider issue of phone recording at Garda stations that you claim to be so concerned about. But the officials in Justice were alerted to that by the former Garda Commissioner. A working group had been established, the Attorney-General's office was alerted to it, and a letter was sent to the Minister for Justice of the day. So the idea that this was a bolt out of the blue is very difficult to comprehend. But the essential point is this, Taoiseach. You sent the Secretary-General out to the house of the former Garda Commissioner in an unprecedented move, which could have only one outcome. And you didn't alert the Cabinet to it. And the Secretary-General the following morning before the Cabinet meeting rang the Garda Commissioner and said, the concerns of the Cabinet have not dissipated in relation to this issue, despite the fact that the Cabinet knew nothing about it. And ministers are on record saying they knew nothing about the phone recording controversy, and they knew nothing about anybody going out to the Garda Commissioner's house. Now square that, Taoiseach, with the truth.
Thank you.
It's a very serious issue, Taoiseach. You can't hide behind Fennelly for a year and a half and hope that it will be buried. You owe it to the public and you owe it to the truth to give a candid, open statement in relation to what happened over those number of days.
Thank you.
Well, you want...
Just stay quiet, please.
You can pander to the populism if you wish to do that. I have to deal with my responsibilities here in the office that I occupy. And I'm fully acquainted with the situation insofar as the removal of persons of the stature of a Garda Commissioner are concerned. Now, you made a charge, and you'll have to stand over that charge. You're now making a charge that you're now making a revelation here that you were informed in the morning of the fact that the concerns of the Cabinet had not dissipated. You will realise, Deputy Martin, that the government set up a commission of inquiry here under a Supreme Court Justice who is the sole member involved in this, who has full authorisation to decide when he wishes as to what elements of this case, including the term of reference, put into that commission of investigation at the request of the Oireachtas Committee on Justice, where your own members are represented. The exact wording is in there. I have a duty, as have others, to respond to that. Perhaps in view of your own revelation now, you might be required to be candid as to who told you that, in view of the fact that the Cabinet were not informed until I called them together in the morning that I should have. And obviously, well, you're now saying that you were aware that cabinet concerns had not dissipated before the Cabinet ever met. So it's a matter for the sole member to perhaps call Deputy Martin to say, where did you find that out, or who is your source of information? And I'm quite sure you'll be candid and truthful about it. But for me, Deputy Martin, I have to respond to the sole member of the Commission. I will do that. I will attend there, and that's my responsibility, and that's what I want to do. The Oireachtas Committee wrote and said, in view of the findings here, in the terms of the Commission of Investigation, this should be a particular term of reference, and that was put in by the government. And I will respond to that truthfully, openly and candidly, as I have done here on the record of the House, Deputy Martin. Now, you made the charge. You made the charge that I fired the former Garda Commissioner. Please. That's your charge. That's your charge. I'm well aware of my responsibilities under the law here. Now, you are going to have to stand over that charge, Deputy Martin. You're going to have to stand over that charge. I will respond in my time whenever the sole member decides to deal with this element of the Commission of Investigation, as is his sole right and authority. And he will deal with that in his own way, and I'll respond as one member who will be called before that. I hope that when you are called, if that be his wish, that you'll explain to him what you just said to the House here. And I hope it'll be truthful and candid, as I'm sure it will be.
Thank you.